Pete, can you believe it is August?
School's right around the corner. I can smell fall approaching, but we still have summer, right?
That's right.
Man.
Welcome to commUNITY. I'm Claudine Ewing.
And I'm Pete Gallivan, and that is a beautiful river, or also a buffalo. Yeah.
We are joined by Lindsay Taylor, the founder of Boflo. We have to remind people, Boflo, why that name, what it means, and that's the reason why we're here.
Yeah, when we really started our culture and lifestyle brand over 9 years ago, it really was a way to kind of connect the area where we're from and just kind of like signify that, right? We could have easily went with Queen City, we could have went with Nico City, we could have went all those traditional names. We're kind of digging deep and really have that conversational piece. We stumbled upon the name Boflo, right, which means beautiful river, right? We always want to give respect to our indigenous people who are here. Doshia Way is actually the name that they go by. Yep. But when some of the French settlers came, right, that was kind of how they described the Buffalo River.
So you're going all the way back.
Yeah,
to
going all the way back.
Yeah.
All the way to some of the explorers. So that's what we go by, Boflo Music and Arts, and that's how we derive to that name.
Tell us of some of the events that are going to be happening and when.
Yeah, so next week we host our 9th annual Boflo Music Arts Celebration. So this is really our biggest weekend of the year. We host a number of different events throughout the year, close to 40 events throughout the year, but this is like our all-star weekend. So next week, Thursday, we have our VIP reception at Birchfield Penny Arts Center, which really kicks off our week, and also we celebrate a number of different community stakeholders who are doing tremendous and authentic work here in the community. Friday, we have our backyard barbecue right over here across the water at Silo City, which we actually started at years ago. Saturday, we have our For the Culture, which is our golf classic. That'll be held at Grover, Cleveland. And then on Sunday, we top it off at the Buffalo Central Terminal with our 9th annual Buffalo Music Arts Celebration, which is a full day of music, arts, and culture, multiple stages, food vendors, vendors village, family fun zone, you name it. It's there for the families to enjoy.
I was going to say, what kind of festival is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's every kind of festival.
It's everything. So we really emphasize on just the celebration of music, arts, and culture, right? We talk about music, all genres of music. So for anything from rock to indie to country to hip hop to R&B, right? It's there on display. We talk about art. We talk about all mediums of art. This year we actually have an outdoor white wall art gallery versus having it tents outside, right, for artists.
Oh, okay.
Celebration of house music, right? Where that's it's a subculture and really very niche culture. We're bringing that to the forefront this year. Kids are welcome, right? So we invite families to come out. We have a family fun zone, so explore more, and a few of our other partners, face painting, art balloon making. We actually have a 9-hole putting green for youth to participate. On Sundays, we cheer for the Buffalo Bills, and everybody from all walks of life come together. And the same thing we kind of do at Boflo, right? And we really have that bridge to kind of come together for what you have. And then also that intergenerational atmosphere, right? So all ages, from toddlers to grandparents, can enjoy, all socio-economical backgrounds, right? Everybody feels welcome and seen. I think that's what really stands us apart from a lot of other events. Yeah.
So Boflo is Buffalo.
Boflo is Buffalo. Boflo is culture. So we're really, we have, not just only Buffalo. We have some friends from across the water that are coming, across the lake, I should say, they're coming down. Rochester, Syracuse, that come down for this event, Erie, PA. And we just built that, and we just keep Buffalo home.
Next year, maybe you can work a little variety in.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
This is Lindsay Taylor. Well, from Lindsay, we're going to talk to Morgan Freeman. Ground Zero Blues Club is one of the best blues clubs in the nation. Now the Symphonic Blues Experience celebrates Delta blues musicians, combining classic blues songs with orchestral symphonies. What do you want people to walk away knowing, and what do you want them to walk away feeling?
I think they're going to walk away knowing a lot more about where the blues comes from.
The audience will get a history lesson as Freeman narrates.
He does this in a cinematic fashion, captured at a club, Ground Zero Blues Club in Clarksdale, Mississippi. And then we have video storytelling that really accompanies the music.
For Morgan Freeman, this experience is digging into deep musical roots. He grew up in the Mississippi Delta. It's something about the blues, isn't it? It just gets to the soul.
Well, yes, that's why they call it soul music.
This is every bit as much a legacy project. I want to be very clear. It's something that really provides a beautiful blend of music and history to really make sure that listeners are understanding the cultural significance of this music and also its influence in other genres such as rock and gospel.
When it comes to music, who do you listen to right now?
Frank Sinatra, and the other one is Al Green.
But his favorite blues tune is B.B. King's The Thrill Is Gone.
It's just a reminder of B.B. himself, the man.
But the symphonic blues?
I think people will walk away with the feeling that they've had a really, really unique experience.
And we are also celebrating this month a Buffalo icon who just passed.
That's right. Most people just know him as Gary on Broadway, but you also know him as the hat maker. Gary White made an impact on Western New York's fashion industry for decades, operating a custom hat shop on Broadway.
Started out many years ago as a young kid and worked my way up from a salesman to a buyer of a very prominent store here in Buffalo. And while I was buying for this particular store, the hat department was my favorite area to work in. So I found a man in Boston, Massachusetts that was willing to train me. So I decided to commute between Buffalo and Boston to learn my craft.
But how long did your apprenticeship take?
10.5 years.
His work was seen across the country. His creations were used in movies, TV shows, and Broadway musical productions.
We did The Lost Capone with Adrian Pastar. Then we did Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty, Batman Returns.
He died in June at the age of 70.
You know, I've had people stopping to talk to me about him the last several weeks and expressing their condolences. And each time I get a message, I realize more like how far his reach was, which is really amazing.
Wearing a hat is more than just shading your head. Wearing a hat is part of your personality. And I'd say that because it's not only how it makes me look, but it's how it makes me feel. And I never feel better than I do wearing a Gary White custom-made hat.
All month long, we are celebrating Black Business Month here in the city of Buffalo. As a serial entrepreneur, a former tech founder, now I am on the other side as an ecosystem builder, right? Empowering and enabling Black businesses, BIPOC businesses, really all businesses in the city of Buffalo to actually grow scale, whether they have an idea or whether they've been 20 years in the business and they want to pivot. It means a lot to me as an entrepreneur, so I know what their journey is, I know how hard it is, and I know what it means to have the support that they need. They want to be inspired. And that's what we do at the Exchange at Beverly Gray. That's what Black Business Month is, all August long. And more importantly, that's how you live boldly. So bold moves only.
Coming up next, a little bit of history.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a guy who came here even before the canal was a thing. Yeah, Buffalo's first doctor.
Right now, we want to delve into history from a historic house to
one of Buffalo's founding fathers, the Queen City's very first doctor.
This is a story about the birth of Buffalo.
I think every community in America has a man who really helped found the city.
And one of the men who played a vital role.
Cyrenius being the first physician, but he was more than a physician. I mean, he was a cantankerous fellow who believed his ideas strongly and had a lot of energy. He must have only slept about 4 hours a night.
His name, Cyrenius Chapin. He was born in Massachusetts and in 1803 moved west. He purchased land from the Holland Land Company in what was then known as the village of New Amsterdam.
He brought with him his experience as a doctor. He was apprentice trained, and so he had something to support himself, something to fall back on. But I think he saw here in Western New York was the potential for a great little community.
And he bought up a great chunk of that community. His home stood in the area of Swan and Washington, right where the ballpark stands today.
His first offer was to actually buy what today would have been all of downtown. But he ended up with just one lot and built a home, built an office, and stayed there the rest of his life.
And in those early days, his medical background wasn't the only thing he brought to the table. He also took on a role of community leadership.
Cyrenius was an officer in the New York State militia.
And he was an officer of conscience, which he showed during the War of 1812.
General McClure, who was then commanding the American forces at Fort George, decided that he had to burn the village of Newark, today we know as Niagara-on-the-Lake, And this was something that Chapin was very much against. As you can imagine, the only people left in the village of Niagara Lake at that time in the war were women and children and older people. And he knew they were just going to be put out in the middle of the winter.
In fact, his protest was so strong that General George McClure ordered Chapin locked up. He was later freed by members of his militia, but not in time to stop the British retaliation.
They tested it by coming across at Fort Niagara and realized there was nobody defending Fort Niagara, and then started their march down to Buffalo, burning everything in sight, and including Buffalo and including Dr. Chapin's home.
Remember the Oak Room on Main Street? Well, the owners decided to close the location and open this spot on Pearl Street.
We graduated. We went from the room to the house. It was just time. We wanted to get into an area that became, that had more energy, more commerce, more business.
This is a nightclub with an upscale flavor. It's obvious when you enter. Check out the do's and don'ts.
We don't want you to look like you're going to the gym. You know, usually the ladies always come out looking nice, and we want the guys to at least match it a little bit.
The owners know this is new ground, but they're small, learning and growing.
We're really ready for the journey. We're ready for, establishing it, and like to bring that big city life back here.
What makes this Pearl Street location different?
We try to make sure the look is good. You want to have a great aesthetic. You want to just be able to have a genuinely good time and in a safe environment.
And special events will also be here.
Buffalo is about its sports, so how are you gonna?
Man. We can't wait for Buffalo Bills season.
Expect to see tailgate parties. More TVs are being installed.
Especially the primetime games. This is going to be humming in the air. We'll have a little buffet, and every time we score, we got something special for you.
This from the man who brings Buffalo's big events like the Miami Nights All-White Affair and the Presidential All-Black Affair. The colors represent the dress.
We just continue to bring big city life to Buffalo, and then too, bring it here too.
From the room to the house.
I pride myself on creating opportunities for people to be successful. When people around me are successful, that makes me more successful, and you learn from each other.
Welcome to the heart of Forestville. 21 Pearl Street in Forestville is the first home in the town of Hanover to be placed on the National Historic Register.
And here we go.
The house has been here since 1870.
It was built by Levi and Francis Pierce, and Francis's father had made money right uptown making pearl ash, turning pearl ash into potash.
The house was considered state-of-the-art.
It had a cistern in it. It had indoor running water. Imagine that.
The curving staircase was cantilevered into the walls of the house, so the staircase appears beautifully suspended in air.
It was sold in 1878.
The woman they sold it to was named Schoonover, Jane Schoonover, and Jane had just been accused of murder in Smith's Mills. Jane sold it to a fellow named Sen, who had made his money as a shoemaker. In 1955, my parents bought it, and Dad was a lawyer. He lawyer for many years before he became a county court judge.
Her dad was the late Judge Leetown Adams.
This is the house I grew up in. This house, the house across the street, the houses down the street, all came out of the period of prosperity brought by the railroad. People don't even know the railroad used to come through Forestville. But in 1851, I could walk down the street, get on the train, and be in New York in 2 days.
It was a golden era for sure, and getting a house on the historic register, it is a tedious process.
We had to measure everything, replicate everything, document everything, talk about whether anything was original, whether it had come later. Fortunately, the things like the windows, if you look at the windows, you can still that distortion that comes from glass after it's been pulled down by gravity for 150 years, so it looks a little wavy.
I think the significance really of a house has to do more so with the people who care about it.
It will become a new focal point of progress and a community pride in the rebuilding of Forestville like it did 2 centuries ago when the community was first being settled. Hopefully, this designation will also help inspire other owners of historic properties to preserve their homes to their original grandeur and support inclusion in the future historic district of Forestville.
The house went on the National Register, and now we're working to get the entire district on the National Register. We believe that remembering how this community was formed and what was important about this community is something we should treasure. We want everybody to know what an amazing place Forestville is and what kind of a community it is, and we want people to move in and come to our school.
Coming up next, the sounds of a female saxophonist.
Yeah, and the sounds of the Pine Grill reunion. It wouldn't be community without some music, right?
That's right.
And as you well know, I am extremely flexible and extremely fit, and yoga is my game.
You heard him say that. Let's listen to Lauren Hall. She's telling us about something special that was going on with yoga.
And beautiful mystery.
The first annual Yoga is Art Festival was held at the Buffalo AKG.
Yoga means to remember, to recollect, to reconnect and come back together to self with our breath, with our body, with our movement, and with understanding of our emotions.
How can anyone judge or condemn a single detail of your miraculous creation?
And proceeds from the event went to a cause near and dear to the yoga instructor.
We're supporting the Alzheimer's Association and showing that movement and mindfully living your life combats the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's. So simply being here today and supporting the cause is helping us all move one step closer to eradicating Alzheimer's. I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's, and my grandfather, he had dementia in his later years as he passed. So to see somebody that we love and have raised us forget who we are is something that's near and dear to my heart.
Hang on. Erase that from your memory.
The awareness of Alzheimer's and dementia is obviously increasing, but there's still, stigma around it. A lot of people are a little bit more scared to talk about it because, some people might think it's a normal part of aging, but it's not.
Corey Sampson says to expect to see more Yoga is Art events in Buffalo.
This is Hard Knocks, the HBO docuseries featuring for the first time the Buffalo Bills. There was a lot of Josh Allen. After all, he is the MVP.
Give me one outside.
And then there's Deion Dawkins. Viewers saw him at home getting the haircut.
Grooming is important. You look good, you feel good, you're going to play good.
Barber Kenny Harris is still amped about the experience.
It was amazing. It was just a great opportunity.
While getting a cut, Deion was talking drifting.
He was like, Deion, I think that you would really enjoy drifting.
There's another culture, and it's off time. That's when you release, and so after football, he goes and drifts.
And seeing the Bills owner on the episode was a highlight.
We're waiting for the new season. It's just everything is around this time is so intense, but it was great seeing Pagula.
Barber Josh Sanchez was also seen.
I was cutting Joe Brady at the time, so it was more towards the end of the episode. They had like a little segment of AJ Epineza. He was talking about how he caught an anaconda. Did you see that?
He's still speechless about the experience.
To be part of the culture and be part of Hard Knocks as well, it was amazing, honestly.
Hard Knocks takes us to training camp, but you see everybody has a story, and grooming is key.
My main person is really Joe Brady. I cut Cam Lewis, a couple other guys. I used to cut D-Ham. That's how I met him at Walmart one time. Joe Brady, he's the man. We've kind of, I've been cutting him for a couple years now, so we've kind of built a special relationship, I would say. And we talk. No, for sure. It's the coaches, too.
So the Bills in prime time.
Speaking of prime time, Coach Prime, we recently heard about his health diagnosis. It's really a warning for everyone. For years, he was known as Prime Time. Now he's Coach Prime, and just as the spotlight was on him on the field, on the sideline, at the hospital, an annual CT scan detected bladder cancer in Deion Sanders.
It's just totally different, and I know there's a lot of people out there going through what I'm going through and dealing with what I'm dealing with. And let's stop being ashamed of it, and let's deal with it, and let's deal with it head on.
At Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, the chair of the urology department has done many surgeries on bladder cancer patients. Dr. Khurshid Guru says it is the 10th most common cancer in the U.S.
It's more common in men. It is more aggressive in females.
Sanders is 57. His bladder was removed. That's not common.
It's not very common for them to remove the bladder, about 20% of the time in patients with bladder cancer.
Doctors took a section of his intestine and reconstructed it to function as a new bladder. That means quality of life changes.
Putting a bag on, or in his case, a neobladder, where he has to kind of train himself to learn how to control his urine.
I depend on depend, if you know what I mean. I truly depend on depend. Like I cannot control my bladder.
It's like being a newborn, and you have a new bladder, you train yourself, and you have to learn different things, how you train yourself to do that.
It is an aggressive cancer, but early detection makes a difference when it comes to your lifespan. If you notice blood in your urine, see a doctor.
He has done the best service for the cancer already by basically speaking about this publicly and saying, you need to go see a doctor for this.
It's always a good time at the world's largest disco, but this event is about more than disco, fun clothes and dance moves. Since 1979, money from the disco benefits Camp Good Days and special times and local cancer-related charities. At Camp Good Days, the kids go to summer camp, and
how many kids that are, 14 years old get to say they got to see a Bills game in a suite with just their friends from camp and no parents. So the disco really gives us a ton of opportunity to give these kids as many different experiences.
The founder of the disco, Dave Piotrowski, has a story.
So my wife's oldest brother passed away when he was 8 years old of cancer. He had a brain tumor. And he never made it to camp because camp didn't exist then. And so she was a volunteer, her dad was a volunteer, so I said, no, that's Camp Good Days. And we started out, I think our first donation was $15,000, and I think our largest donation on an annual basis has been over $300.
It's not just about philanthropy for him, it's really about getting to know the kids and making sure that he can do everything they can to bring a little joy to their life.
Reagan was diagnosed in 2022. Her sister Shannon is by her side.
So we went to first overnight camp, I think a couple weeks after she got diagnosed, and we've been going back ever since.
When Reagan missed meeting friends in high school, the camp was her savior.
I've often felt outcasted, but then I get to have all my friends and see them every year.
Camp Good Days not only serves children with cancer, but if a parent or sibling is battling, they also help. And there are programs year-round, even though summer camp. That's the big deal.
I love Dave. He's the best.
Thanks for joining us on commUNITY. We learned a lot about Boflo from Lindsay.
Yep, some history.
And music.
We'll see you next month, right here on commUNITY.